Dear students, welcome to Swayam Shiksha. So let us discuss one more philosophical essay which was recently asked in the exam. So we've already discussed one essay and there's already one live session on philosophical essay which is already uploaded on our YouTube. And today we will try to analyze one more simple topic which was asked in the recent UPSC mains exam. Okay. So this is the topic, hand that rocks the cradle rules the world. Now first thing, whenever we are trying to analyze a philosophical essay, we have to identify the key words in the essay. This is what we have to do. Okay. So here one is rocks the cradle is one aspect. Second aspect, rules the world. Okay, so that nurturing hand that rocks the cradle is indirectly ruling the world. Now here, one important aspect is, it is not inferring that mothers are ruling the world. The inference is not that the mother is ruling the world. The inference is, mother plays an instrumental role in creating leaders who rule the world. This is the logic here. Mother plays an instrumental role in creating leaders who rule the world. This is the meaning. Okay. So, for such essays, we can come up with some story which is very attractive. For example, we can talk about Mahatma Gandhi. We can talk about Pulti Bai's religious aspects and the aspects of not eating non-vegetarian or abstaining from worldly pleasures have given a lot of confidence to Mahatma or Gandhiji, and these principles he started following with blind faith. And this laid the foundation of a leader who can abstain from material pleasures easily. When he takes a decision, he can follow the decision at any cost. That is one way of looking at it. Or we can talk about Paul and Einstein. When Albert Einstein was learning music, most of his ideas related to physics emerged during his music sessions. So initially when he was disinterested and trying to go against his music teacher, etc., his mother was so very patient that she arranged for a new music teacher and kept on waiting patiently. And this time, Einstein learnt music, and more than music, it's Albert Einstein, a gift to the world. So, what we have to try to understand here is, in the initial years, a human baby is more dependent on his mother for survival in comparison to several other animals. A tadpole can move, or a fawn can just run. But a human baby is completely vulnerable and is completely dependent on mother for certain period of time, which clearly makes the role of mother very, very instrumental in framing the child's behavior, attitude, and including his intelligence to some extent. Definitely yes. So we can come up with certain examples to start this particular topic where we can directly show the relevance of the role of mother. Okay. So whether it is Jijabai or whether it is Pultibai or whether it is Paul and Einstein, okay, Or we can talk about Napoleon Bonaparte. So Napoleon Bonaparte, when he was basically trained, in fact, in the childhood, the training given by his mother or the strict discipline which his mother has taught him, okay, at times he used to go to bed without food based on instructions given by the mother. And this has taught him strict discipline, which made him one of the best military best military leaders. So this is something which we should understand, that the discipline or the behavior or the thinking patterns or attitudes are framed in the initial 5 to 6 years. So most of the psychologists say, give me the first 6 years of the baby's life or the child's life. I don't care whom he is going to be groomed after that. It clearly indicates that in the first initial 6 years, everything is decided, or the way. Or if you talk about psychopaths who have a very bad childhood, and most of the criminals or psychopaths who have a very bad childhood where they could not receive or get mother's love, or there was some parental issues in the initial years, and that is the main reason why now he became a psychopath. There's an adequate research which clearly talks about this. So this is one aspect of this essay where we are talking about the role of the mother being very, very instrumental in creating leaders which influence the globe or nation as such. Okay. And one more important aspect, as Swami Vivekananda was talking about, you educate a man, you educate a man. If you educate a woman, you educate a generation. Now, this is how you look at it, clearly indicating the role of mother, instrumental, the role of mother. So here, is it that I stop at mother, or can I extend the scope of the essay? Now, this is one more important aspect. So you have to write almost like 6 pages. So is it that I only stop at mother, or one important aspect which you should understand for such essays is, can I extend this to nurturing hands? Or can I bring in an aspect of compassion here? So I'm talking about compassion, or that means, can I bring in an aspect of compassionate hands? Any compassionate hand can be equated to mother, or any nurturing hand which played an instrumental role other than mother. Definitely, yes, we can extend the scope of the essay to compassionate hands or nurturing hands. And the most important aspect here is, can state take up the role of nurturing? Can state take up the role of mother? So you can't expect that every mother has the liberty and leverage to look after their kids the way they can in certain countries, or poor countries in fact. Now, state plays a very important and instrumental role. State can act like a mother in nurturing its citizens, nurturing its people to become true leaders. So this is one dimension of this essay where we can talk about how does state play such an instrumental role. That means, what can the state do in terms of the education system? Are there any states like Scandinavian countries where there is more scope for creating better leaders than looking at certain states or places like Northwest Frontier Province or certain want-on areas where there are problems? Can there be societies which can exist where there is more zone of acceptance? So societies, if they do not differentiate people based on vulnerable sections like SC, ST, caste, if the zone of acceptance of the society is wider, that society becomes a nurturing hand to bring in great leaders of tomorrow. So what I mean here is, if society's zone of acceptance is higher, if society does not discriminate people based on religion, on caste, etc., automatically mother is selfless. Mother's love is selfless love. Mother's love is selfless love. If the society is equated to mother, that means if society is showing unconditional love, if society is showing unconditional love, that means society is removing these barriers and society's zone of acceptance is increasing. It has a definite scope to create better leaders for tomorrow. This is what I mean, taking society playing the role of mother, or taking state playing the role of mother. How can state or the government play the role of mother? When we talk about primary education, how do you bring in, or how does our new education policy nurture leadership qualities? What is the role of the state in taking care of vulnerable sections? What is the role of the state in taking care of primary health care? What is the role of the state in Anganwadis, where there is a problem where you have maternal mortality rates are high? What is the role of the state in terms of playing the role of mother? If the state really should act like a mother, then when it comes to politics, there should be corrupt-free politics which can nurture and bring out true leaders. So this is how I am trying to expand the scope of the essay, where mother need not be just mother. Mother role can be taken up by some institutions as well, like the state, which are very, very instrumental in creating the leaders of tomorrow. It can also be the society itself, whose zone of acceptance is so wide. Making a comparison between countries like the Scandinavian countries or the Middle East nations or the Northwest Frontier province, or in people like Malala Yousafzai, who wanted to study and she had to take a bullet to study. How do you expect great leaders to emerge from such places? Now, this is how you try to make a comparison between different nations and the role of the state in terms of, and the society in terms of increasing their zone of acceptance, talking about unconditional love. When we talk about politics, corrupt-free politics, when we talk about primary education, marketization of important services like education, healthcare can create problems for certain sections of the population. This is how we take up the essay forward, where we put in state playing the role of the mother, when we put in society playing the role of the mother. When we talk about environment, or nature is the biggest mother which always keeps on giving. So what we learn from nature is unconditional love. What we learn from trees or rivers, etc. So when we talk about nature nurturing people, okay, so it is nature which is the biggest mother, or it is the creator of creators. And that nature plays an instrumental role in moving the globe forward or moving the societies forward. And what is the responsibility we have towards our mother nature is something, one more important dimension which we can talk about. So state, nature and society, along with the regular examples of talking about mother's instrumental role when we talk about Napoleon Bonaparte, or talking about Gandhi, or talking about, and we can also look at another dimension where if you are over obsessed with motherly love also may create problems. Now what am I trying to, I'm talking about the reverse side of this topic. So there are instances where there is this incident where a Jewish doctor has treated Hitler's mother, and since he could not save, Hitler developed kind of aversion. This was also one important instrumental reason for Hitler developing a kind of aversion towards Jewish people. Of course, there are multiple reasons from his childhood, but this also played an instrumental reason. So this is the other side of it, where extreme love. So that means an aspect of rationality, an aspect of sensibility in judging what is right and what is wrong was missing when it comes to Hitler here. Okay, so we can take the other side of it, of this particular topic, and try analyzing. And then I transform this essay into how do we develop such capabilities in the society with respect to state, And with respect to mothers as such, when we talk about nutrition or reducing the maternal mortality rates, women being given more freedom with respect to their choices, etc., with respect to education, and along with that, what has to be done in terms of state taking up the role as mother, what has to be done with respect to education, what has to be done with respect to healthcare, what has to be done with respect to politics. Similarly, we can also focus on uh, mother nature, what has to be done with respect to nature, and what has to be done as far as societies to become more progressive for unconditional love, which can create great leaders of tomorrow. So, always we cannot expect and narrow down the scope of the essay talking about just mother's instrumental role in leaders. It becomes a single dimension. So, as a bureaucrat, probably we can think of a wider perspective wherein a civil servant or a bureaucrat can also nurture lives and create leaders of tomorrow, because he plays an instrumental role in women empowerment. He plays an instrumental role in eradicating uh, some problems in the society. He can be a problem solver and he can create great leaders of tomorrow. So, this is how we take up this topic and move forward. I hope you have understood the line of the essay, and I'll keep coming up with more such essays. I'll be discussing all the essays of 2021. Please do subscribe to our YouTube channel and stay focused. And I asked you for your comments with respect to one important aspect, comment with respect to more such ideas or anything a student wants with respect to essay analysis and essay dimensions. Please do comment in our comment box so that we have a clarity on what students' exact needs are. Okay, so thank you. That's all.